What a week in Philadelphia, folks. And let me start with a question that's been bouncing around every sports show, every barbershop, every tailgate outside Lincoln Financial Field. Have we all just forgotten who Jalen Hurts is? Because after Monday night's heartbreaker, a 22-19 overtime loss to the Chargers, the chatter has gotten loud, and honestly, a little wild. Now, let's dive in. This was the Eagles' third straight loss, a tough skid for an 8-5 team that started the season soaring. And yes, Jalen Hurts had a rough outing. 5 turnovers, 4 of them interceptions, and a completion line of 21 for 40 with 240 yards. That's not the MVP version of Hurts we saw leading the Birds to Super Bowl 59. But suddenly, people are asking if he should be benched? Benched. The same guy who's taken the Eagles to the playoffs 4 times, to 2 Super Bowls, and brought a Lombardi trophy back to Philly for the first time since that unforgettable 2017 run. Well, head coach Nick Sirianni shut that down instantly. And he wasn't alone. ESPN's Dan Orlovsky, usually one of Hurts' biggest skeptics early in his career, came out firing like Brian Dawkins charging out of the tunnel. On First Take, Orlovsky didn't hold back. Yesterday became the dumbest conversation of the NFL season, he said. And he's not wrong. He pointed out Hurts is 4th in the NFL in total touchdowns, 4th, behind Stafford, Josh Allen, and Dak Prescott, and yet people are calling for his job? As Orlovsky joked, it's like blaming a running back because the offensive line isn't blocking. Sometimes the whole machine needs a tune-up, not just one part. And let's be fair, the Eagles' offense hasn't been as electric as we're used to. They're sitting at 22.2 points per game, just 19th in the league, and only 198.9 passing yards per game, 22nd. Those aren't Philly numbers. Not for a team with A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, and one of the most intimidating offensive lines in football. But here's the key. In the big picture, the Birds are still atop the NFC East at 8-5. The Cowboys, yes, the rival Dallas Cowboys, are stuck at 6-1. And coming up, a very favorable matchup against the 2-11 Raiders. Hurts himself isn't bothered by the noise. He said he's expecting good things ahead, and this is classic Jalen. Focused. Never panicked. This is the same guy who played through injuries in 2023, who turned doubters into believers with work ethic, leadership, and a little Philly grit. Orlovsky even admitted he underestimated Hurts early on. But as he reminded everyone, Hurts has thrown just 1 interception since October, before Monday night, and yet, we're asking if he should be benched? As he put it, do you know how stupid of a question that is? Strong words, but hey, this is Philly. We like strong words. Now, Eagles fans remember the cold sweat of 2023, losing 5 of the last 6 and crashing out in the wild card round. Owner Jeffrey Lurie, he says he's not worried. And maybe we shouldn't be either. This roster is talented. The schedule ahead is forgiving. And historically, when you count out the Eagles, from 4th and 26 to the Philly special, that's exactly when they come alive. Still, the Birds haven't looked like themselves during this skid. Missed tackles. Miscommunication in the secondary. Hurts forcing throws instead of taking what's underneath. It's been a storm. And you can hear the thunder from talk radio to Broad Street. I spoke with a fictional fan named Tony from South Philly, season ticket holder since the Donovan McNabb era, and he put it perfectly: you don't bench a captain because the ship hits a wave. You let him steer you through it. And honestly, that's the vibe across most of Philly. So what's next? If the Eagles clean up the turnovers, simplify the passing attack, and get that run game humming, something they must do with Saquon Barkley struggling behind inconsistent blocking, this team can still make a serious push in January. And when the playoffs arrive, nobody wants to see Jalen Hurts, who's built his career on silencing doubts. But the clock is ticking. 3 straight losses is fire alarm territory, even in a season with Super Bowl expectations. So, Philly fans, keep those green jerseys ready. Keep singing, "Fly Eagles Fly." And get ready for a bounce-back game this Sunday. Because if history has taught us anything, it's this: the Eagles fall, then they rise higher. Don't go anywhere. Stick with us all season long for every twist, every turn, every fly-or-die moment from the heart of Eagles country. Fly, Eagles, fly. Folks, have you ever seen a team try to hop its way out of a slump with a bunny? Yeah, you heard that right. A positive vibes rabbit in the Philadelphia Eagles locker room. But just like that furry little experiment, the bird season has gone from soaring high to hitting the turf hard. I'm your host, diving deep into the green chaos that's gripped our beloved Eagles. Buckle up, Philly, it's time to unpack this wild week. Let's start with the spark that lit the fuse. Jason Kelce, the mustache-wearing legend who anchored that offensive line for over a decade, absolutely unloading on his old squad during this week's New Heights podcast. Kelce, now an ESPN analyst and still bleeding green after retiring post-2023, didn't hold back. "I have no idea where this FNG rabbit came from," he fumed. "I think they tried it. It didn't work. You gotta ditch the rabbit. I mean, the whole thing's gotta go." Coming from a guy who blocked for Donovan McNabb in his prime and paved the way for that unforgettable 2017 Super Bowl run, remember Foles to the moon? This isn't just shade, it's a full-on eclipse. Kelce knows the locker room pulse better than anyone, and right now, it's thumping with frustration. For those just tuning in, or maybe nursing a hangover from Monday Night Football, here's the gut punch. The Eagles burst out of the gate like they owned the NFC, ripping off an 8-2 start that had us all chanting, "Fly, Eagles, fly," from the parking lots of Lincoln Financial Field to the Schuylkill River. They were the defending champs, remember? That Lombardi trophy still gleaming from last February's glory. But oh man, November 23rd against those smug Dallas Cowboys? It was like a bad dream you can't wake from. Up 21-0 in the first half, and then, poof. The D fell apart, the O sputtered, and suddenly it's a rivalry rout that exposed every crack. Since then, zilch in the win column. A gritty but heartbreaking 24-15 home loss to the Bears on Black Friday. Philly's own Turkey Day tradition turned sour. Then, that nail-biter in overtime against the Chargers, 22-19, where Jalen Hurts coughed up 5 turnovers. 5. Including the dagger, a pick-six that sealed it on national TV. Hurts, our dual-threat dynamo who's carried this team on his back since Nick Sirianni handed him the keys in 2020, looked mortal. Completion percentage dipping under 60%, those signature scrambles turning into fumbles. It's the kind of stretch that tests even the most die-hard Birds fans, the ones who tailgate in sub-zero temps and boo Santa Claus just for fun. Now, let's zoom in on that bizarre bunny saga, because if there's one thing Philly sports does best, it's turning desperation into meme gold. Heading into the Chargers clash, the Eagles brass, desperate for any spark, unveiled this positive bunny plush in the locker room. Saquon Barkley, the Barkley beast we snagged in free agency to replace the Miles Sanders era, tried to spin it with that megawatt smile. "I've been told it's a vibes bunny, and the vibes are high right now." High vibes? From a rabbit. Look, Saquon's been a revelation. Over 1,200 rushing yards already, gashing defenses like Reggie White used to terrorize QBs back in the 90s. But even he couldn't hop over the reality. That bunny vanished faster than a Cowboys Super Bowl dream after the OT loss. It's like the Eagles were channeling some twisted, who framed Roger Rabbit vibe, but without the laughs. Coaching staff thought it'd boost morale? In a city where Brian Dawkins once head-butt his way through linebackers, we need grit, not gimmicks. Diving deeper into the X's and O's, because you know I live for this, Sirianni's schemes are under the microscope. That Cowboys collapse? It wasn't just one drive, it was a defensive line that got pushed around like shopping carts in a South Philly market. Vic Fangio's unit, supposed to be a brick wall, allowed 300-plus rushing yards in that meltdown. Fast forward to the Bears and Chargers, Hurts turnovers scream protection issues, left tackle Jordan Mailata nursing a nagging hammy, the interior line missing that Kelce magic. Offensively, it's been tush-push or bust, but without the rhythm, A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, our dynamic duo of deep threats, are starving for targets. Brown's got those burner routes that echo Deshaun Jackson's glory days, but he's hauling in just 55 catches this year. Statistically, the Eagles' turnover differential has flipped from plus 10 early on to minus 7 now. That's playoff poison, folks. Teams that cough it up like this win Lombardi trophies about as often as the Giants do. And speaking of rivals, this skid feels eerily like 2022's late fade, when we went from birds of prey to grounded pigeons before rallying for the Super Bowl. But hold up, Sirianni's not flinching. On his weekly spot with 94 WIP, the hometown station that's as Philly as cheese steaks, he shut down the hot take horde calling for a Hurts benching. No, I think that's ridiculous, Nick fired back. I know every time I go out on that field with Jalen Hurts as our quarterback, we have a chance to win the game. That's something that's been proven. We've won a lot of football games. This is the most ultimate team game. You win together as a team, you lose together as a team. It's never just one thing. Imagine this. Picture Sirianni in the huddle, channeling that underdog fire from his 2022 coordinator days, rallying a locker room that's seen Reggie White's Minister of Defense sacks and Dawkins' pregame sermons. If anyone's got the blueprint to flip the script, it's him. Let's sprinkle in some voices from the trenches. Hypothetically, of course, but you know these Eagles. Devonta Smith, the Slim Reaper himself, might lean into the mic post-practice. Man, that bunny? Cute idea, but we don't need plush toys. We need hits. Jalen's our guy. We've been through worse, like that 21 playoff heartbreaker against Tampa. We're built for this. And from a rabid Birds fan in the 700 level at the link? Kelsey's right. Ditch the rabbit. But if Hurts slings it like he did in Super Bowl 52, I'll forgive the whole zoo. Laughter aside, these quotes capture the soul of Philly sports. Unfiltered, unbreakable, and always one play from redemption. Looking ahead, the crystal ball's foggy, but here's my take. This Sunday against the Las Vegas Raiders at home? It's a must-win trap game, no doubt. Derek Carr's got that sneaky arm, and their run game could exploit our weary D. But with the NFC East staring down a Cowboys steamroll and Giants lurking, a loss here drops us to 8-5, flirting with wild card peril. Bounce back, though. I see it. Hurts rights the ship with 250 yards and a couple scores. Barkley feasts for 150 on the ground, and the secondary, led by Darius Slay's veteran savvy, picks off a pass or two. Playoff implications? Huge. We're talking a top 3 seed if we string 3 together, avenging that Cowboys dagger and reminding the league why Philly's the city of brotherly shove. Expert chatter from around the league? Skip Bayless might tweet doom, but Stephen A. He'd holler, the Eagles are resilient, like Rocky climbing those steps. Don't sleep on them. Philly faithful, as the snow starts dusting those green seats at the link, remember, we've stormed confetti from the Superdome, we've echoed, fly Eagles fly into eternity. This slump? It's just the plot twist before the comeback. Tune in Sunday, grab your wingman, crack a Yangling, and let's will this team to victory. Who's with me? Drop your predictions in the comments, smash that like button, and subscribe for every Eagles heartbeat. This is, signing off, Go Birds.